What is going on, EoP sports fans? It's Wednesday night. It's 8:45. Time for EoP. I'm Big Al.
And I'm Joe Sheeran.
And we are a little late because thank you to Dives and Ryan Reese for kind of taking you guys right into the official schedule release, even though I think it was pretty much released this morning, but it was officially released at 8:01 by the Philadelphia Eagles. And it is out there, and we're going to react to it right away. We're going to react to the reactions of the reactions, so whatever you want to call it. That we're just going to keep the reaction train going. We're going to talk about the Red Hot Phillies, who are up right now 7-2 on the Mets. Top of the seventh, Ranger, not the greatest Ranger game, but still getting the job done as we would hope.
Listen, the Ranger did enough to get it done, and blame it on the rain, like Millie Vanilli says.
Blame it on the rain. Blame it on the rain. Blame it on the Ranger. Blame it on the rain. Whatever you want to do. But that's going to be a big topics for tonight, of course. So let's just jump right into it. And a reminder that this show is brought to you by, we'll go with Sherry'sTickets.com, because we're about to talk about a schedule, Joe, a schedule release for the Philadelphia Eagles. That means you, when you're done here, or if you want to, put pick up your phone and watch it on your TV, you can pull up and you go to Sherry'sTickets.com and find those Eagles tickets. You can start buying your tickets now. Go to Sherry'sTickets.com for all your sports, concert, and theater needs. Great prices. There's going to be no hidden fees. You're not going to get bamboozled at checkout, and you're going to use that great promo code EOP10. That's right, EOP10 will save you an additional 10% off at Sherry'sTickets.com. Again, great tickets, sports, concerts, theaters, you name it. Like I said, with the release of this Eagles schedule, act now while they're still available. Use that promo code EOP10 to save 10% off at Sherry'sTickets.com. It's a busy night for all our sponsors, Joe, because we're going to talk about Philly sports trips, and this is their Christmas morning, man. Like they're busy as everybody else is rushing around to figure it out. But let's throw it up on the screen, Joe. Here it is. Here's your official EOP calendar. EOP showing the schedule, kind of color coded to make it a little easier for everybody to break it down. Joe, first glance, love it, hate it. What do you got for me?
First glance is two things for me. Number one, you know that they purposely put the Eagles week 2 Monday Night Football because of Jason Kelce. It's going to be I think it's going to be his first week as a pregame analyst or announcer, wherever the hell they're going to put him. So that's something that stands out to me. And the other thing that infuriates me and kind of worries me a bit is a week 5 bye. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is going to be brutal. I mean, why are they even starting a bye this early, especially in a 17-game season, where they're about to add an 18th week as well. But I mean, a week 5 bye, this is absolutely brutal.
Yeah, no. What's going on, Dive? Dive say Eagles W on his over the Giants on his birthday. Yeah, let's go. But the Atlanta one, I don't like the week 5 bye. I don't like any bye before week 8, to be honest with you.
Fix your mic.
Huh?
Fix your mic. I can barely hear you.
Is that better?
There you go.
All right. I don't know what's going on. That's weird. But I say a week bye, a week 6 bye, like anything before week 8 is just not. It's not favorable. I don't like it. Guys are just kind of getting their groove by week 5 and week 6 and week 7. 8, 9, 10 is when you start to see, little injuries come up. Time for guys who need to take a break, because after that you got nothing. It's I don't want to say there's not really a gauntlet per se here, but there is a stretch of games in the middle of this season that make things a little bit interesting, and we'll go through that as we kind of walk through this a little bit. But with your theory on the Atlanta game, I think it's even further than that, Joe. I think this is like, fine, you guys got to travel to South America. It's Green Bay. It's a tough game. Both teams are going to come back tired, beat up a little bit. Kirk Cousins on a Monday night. Is that a gimme? Is that a gimme for the Philadelphia Eagles, Joe?
You have to think, yeah. I don't want to say yeah.
Prime time Kirk Cousins.
I know exactly what you're thinking, and I mean, you're not wrong. I hate to think it's a gimme. I mean, listen, Atlanta has a really young, really potentially explosive offense, and Kirk Cousins is as borderline above average to elite as you can get. So it could be a difficult game. It really could.
Yeah. And here's the other thing, and I think Kyle's kind of alluded to this here. He's saying, but we have 4 of the last 5 games at home and the one away game in DC. That's something we'll talk about a little bit. I mean, if you think about it, is the bye week the 5th week because of it is 2 home and 2 away, but the 1 home is in Brazil, so that's not a home game. Let's just call that
right. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
On the schedule, it's a home game. Outside of that, it's an away game. As way as away can get outside of being on the moon. So you come home, they give you Monday night football, so that gives you an extra couple days. So it's kind of like that stretch between Thursday night and a Monday and a Sunday night game. So they give you that little stretch, a little extra time to get it together. Then it's 2 away games. 2 and all 4 NFC games. So that's also makes it important when it comes to playoff standings, things like that. Mm-hmm. So that bye week, I think it was kind of like, here you go. You guys are going to be tired to get some rest. Like, that's how I look at that bye week. I think that's purposely why week 5 is a bye week right now.
Well, yeah, because if you do look at it, I mean, you look at the first week 9-6 and then week 2 9-16. I mean, that's 10 days right there. Then you play two games and then you're on your bye, and then you do have the Thursday night Washington game and the Sunday LA game. So that's almost like a mini bye as well, and that's basically right smack dab in the middle of the schedule. So at least they have some leniency there.
Is also the reason Carolina's later in the not trying to say anything, give me, but do you put that game there knowing that it should be an easier game for the team, I'm just saying.
Well, look at that. Look at the Pittsburgh game. You think you throw Kenny Pickett a bone and tell him to go out there and get some revenge?
There you go. Possibly. Let's see. Dibe's checking back in. Outside of Brazil, Joe, the best road trip game: New Orleans, LA, Tampa. He said, not gonna lie, I'm hoping tons and tons of Eagles fans head to Baltimore and own that stadium, which could very much happen. But Joe, and you know what, we'll talk about it because we'll this schedule here is also sponsored by Philly Sports Strip, so they're booking all these away games outside of going to Brazil, which would be an amazing trip. What would be on Joe's list if you had a choice of any away game that wasn't Brazil?
See, I want to say New Orleans or Tampa Bay, but they're so early in the schedule. I think if you're going to do a road trip, you should go big, and it should probably be LA when the weather starts to turn, late November, and then you can get out to the left coast and go to La La Land and soak up the sun. I mean, that's probably the trip that everybody should be aiming for.
Possibly, very much possibly so. But
realistically, I would do the Baltimore one.
Well, Baltimore, I mean, that's like kind of, it's almost like going, I'm going to go to the Giants or the Washington one in my eyes. It's actually closer than Washington is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So to me, that's an easy give me. But if I'm looking because I'm going to take like a trip or an experience or something along those lines, I'm probably looking at the LA game too, Joe. Last time I was in LA for an Eagles game, things were not very good. I mean, it turned out to be a great season,
however,
most memorable season.
They won the Super Bowl.
So maybe I do go to LA, Who's our backup? Let's
yeah.
They'll be sending me a gift basket. But honestly, to be honest with
you, hold
Joe,
on. That LA 11/24. When is Thanksgiving this year? Like the 30th? Well, no, it wouldn't be the 30th, but like the 28th?
Probably 21st. I guess that would be right. Let me see. I'll tell you right now.
I thought it was the last Thursday in the month.
Maybe the way everything lies. I don't know. I'll tell you right now. 28th. So it's a late one this year.
Wow. Yeah, that is late.
Yeah. So the 28th is actually, it's very late because it's right towards the end because on December 1st is a Sunday. So just a few days later, boom. It just may be how the calendar falls for that one. Let's see the comments here. I think we got another one. Oracle saying a lot of cold games, very few daytime games in September, October, that part sucks for the fans. Yeah, okay. That's a good point that Oracle put out there. Let's look at this. Let's go into like October. All right, so the bye week starts October. Then you're home for Cleveland game. Both teams used to the cold. You're going to New York. You're going to Cincinnati. Cold games. Um, Jacksonville's home, cold. You're in Dallas. That's warmer. Washington, cold. LA will be warm. Baltimore will be cold. Carolina's home. Pitt's home. Washington's cold. Yeah, he's not wrong. There isn't really any warm away game outside of LA. But if you look at anything after September.
And if you really look at it, after LA, there's no more plane rides.
No, that's actually a really great point too, Joe. That's actually real. I didn't even look at that. That's a really
that's
good
insane.
Point. I mean, if you really look further, Joe, after the bye week, I mean, there's a plane ride for Cincinnati, but you could drive there if you were a fan.
Drive, yeah.
If you're a fan, it's not that crazy of a drive. But yeah, there's Cincinnati, there's Dallas, and there's LA. That's it. That's it. After week 5, that's 3 plane rides for them.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a really good point, which, you know, and like I said, somebody said to me, "Oh, there's no gauntlet this year." And I'm like, I get what you're saying, but like Cleveland's a good defense. You know, say what you want. I don't believe in Deshaun Watson, but that's a good team. It's early on in the season, so you know you'll by week
he probably won't be injured yet.
Yeah, by week 6 or whatever that is, like you'll know what's going on with that team, if he's good or not. I honestly do not believe in Deshaun Watson at all. But he's still a good he's still a good athlete. Like, you know, I used to say the same thing about Michael Vick when he was playing for Atlanta. Like, I didn't fear him as much, but I still think Michael Vick was a better pound for pound at that time. But you know, do you want to walk through each game and talk about that, or do you want to you know just kind of look at it?
Yeah, we could take a minute or two on each game.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, my one
By
point
the way,
is
Phillies 9-2.
Yeah, and still threatening. 2 outs, guys on second and third, and Johan Rojas is up to bat right now. But like, you know, New York Giants, outside of them having some like little resurgence, not a great team. Cincinnati's going to be a tough game. So you got a little, like, I want to call it a gauntlet, but you got Cincinnati, Jacksonville, Dallas, Washington, LA, Baltimore. So you got it broken up a little bit. I mean, Jacksonville can go either way. They're a Jekyll and Hyde team.
Yeah, and I actually saw somebody say something earlier, and you know, it came out yesterday, the strength of schedule and all that, and I think the Eagles were like 10th from the bottom, so it doesn't look that strong. It doesn't, like, on paper, it was like a .491 out of, I don't even know out of what, but somebody commented and they were like, well, yeah, but that's because it dipped a bit lower under 500 because they have the Giants and Washington and Carolina on this the schedule. Like, they do play a good amount of good teams that can give them a struggle. There's no doubt about it. Like outside of the teams I just named, I mean, it could go either way.
Joe, do you think that percentage drops a little bit because of Dallas expected not to be that good this year?
I mean, it could be
that's
just
2 games are usually tough games. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah. And Giants, Washington, and Dallas, you think Dallas, they're going to, at the worst, split. So, yeah, I think everybody in our division, I think that, yes, us playing them does drop the strength schedule. I'm sorry, the strength of the schedule down a bit.
All right, well, real quick, I'm going to hit some of these comments, then we're going to jump into what we were just talking about, kind of break it down a little bit here. Adam's popping in saying, what's up, guys? What's up, Adam? He actually won the tickets at...
yeah, man, congratulations.
Yeah, Streetlight Kitchen and Bar, so good for you, Adam. Hopefully you enjoy the game on June 28th. Dives is saying, quick takes, no real gauntlet schedule this year like 2023, just one Monday night game, which is amazing. I really do hate Monday night games more than anything. Rams, Ravens 1-2 punch is brutal. That is true.
Sure.
Last year, the Eagles beat the Rams in LA and then lost to the Jets the week after. That's true, too. I'm looking to go to the Falcons game. Yeah, that could be a good game, too. Like I said, Kirk Cousins, Monday Night Football, could be a throttling. You never know. Marshawn chiming in here, brah. We are whooping on these New York Rats. Yes, he's talking about the Mets. It's 10-2 right now, with Kyle Schwarber up the bat with guys on the corner.
You know what? Funny, and it has nothing to do with sports. My son, my 5-year-old, woke up the other day, and we were in bed, and he called me brah, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "How do you know that word?"
Yeah, does he watch YouTube? Does he watch YouTube shows?
Of course he does.
It's exactly why. Where do you all see the first loss? Marshawn wants to know, Joe. Where, on all honesty, do you see the first loss for the Philadelphia Eagles this year? Looking at that schedule,
honestly, it could be Cleveland.
Cleveland is a good one. I think Cleveland's a good one.
I think Cleveland is better than people really think.
They come out to a hot start, could be Cincinnati, but I don't see them going, starting the season off, and I could see a 3-1 start. They lose that Green Bay game. Like I always say, the two hardest games to predict are the first and last games of the season.
I see Tampa Bay being a mini revenge game. I see them coming out victorious in that one.
The Saints,
New Orleans, I don't know.
They always struggle against the Saints, especially in New Orleans. I mean, even when we were on a tear in 2022, the New Orleans Saints were a bad team, and we just looked down upon them. I don't know what it was. They lost them then. But I think Cleveland's a fair one. But if they have
that was a New Year's Eve game too.
Yeah,
that was a New Year's Eve game.
If they go on a tear, Cincinnati could be the first one, or I could see them go 3-1, and it would be probably the Saints in my eyes if it was those first four games. Let's see. Dive saying Saints as well. Let down game after 2-0 start. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what it could be
for sure.
I see 5 losses and 1 unexpected loss, 11-6. You always have that. Well, you always have to add in that 1 unexpected loss. Like you have to now. I wised up after doing this for many years now, and saying you have to always pick all right, Joe, looking at the schedule, what is that unexpected loss in your eyes? Like, what is the one that they should win but they could lose because of whatever.
I mean, it could, probably Pittsburgh.
I know, and don't worry about the Giants because by then they could be out of it, or they could be, right.
Right, yeah.
You're saying Pittsburgh?
I mean, could Russell Wilson have a resurgence? I don't know.
I hate to say be on a Sunday night football, but I could see that Jacksonville game being be the letdown game of the year.
Oh, Dougie P coming back.
Yeah, Dougie P coming back. Jacksonville's very Jekyll and Hyde. They can be good, they can be bad. You never know where they can be at. Middle of the season tends to be where they're the best. And they're coming off two road games, one against the Giants and against Cincinnati. So that's also plays a little bit into it as well in my eyes too. That could be a letdown game possibly. Let's see. Marshawn saying second half of the schedule was the gauntlet. Yeah, right. That's true, Marshawn. That's the scary part. True. Look, when we were doing this last year, if we reran the same show from time frame from last year, Joe, we're sitting there if we can just go 500 in that 5 games, or 6 games, we go 3-3, maybe come out 12 wins out of this thing because they should just run the table, and they completely got owned.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jalen Hurts will be tested against the Blitz Week 4 in Tampa, and then the linebackers will be tested against Baltimore versus Derrick Henry. Yeah, I mean,
true.
I kind of wonder about Derrick Henry. Maybe a change of scenery and pace will be good for him. I really kind of wondered if he was kind of cooked a little bit the way he played in Tennessee at the end there.
I think the same way that people are saying, Saquon being in Philly could be the jump start to his career that he needed again, because not only the offensive line, but because he has a mobile quarterback. So there's always that mystery of who's actually going to be taking the ball on certain rundowns. I mean, that could be the same thing with Baltimore with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. They could be a very successful 1-2 punch when it comes to the running game.
Absolutely. And guys, remind you, that this is brought to you by PhillySportsTrips.com. And, I'm going to tell you, because the Phillies are playing right now, they have a plenty. Like, if you want to get away now, they got a Baltimore game literally a month from today. A game in Baltimore. That trip to Baltimore is available for you. Boston, Chicago, Pittsburgh, they have them all. Go, you can sign up now, get out there. But of course, right now they're working on that. If you go to PhillySportsTrips.com, you're going to see right now populating all these games, all these away games for the Eagles. So sign up now, because those things get locked down. Joe and I'll tell you, we sit there and we talk to Vince every couple times a week anymore, updating us on what games are, going and coming and all that. Like, what games are getting sold out. So don't wait. Seriously.
And let's not forget, June 15th, that game in Baltimore, 1 month from today, yours truly will be there. So you can meet me. Go over to PhillySportsTrips.com and sign up.
Well, Joe, sweeten the pot, everybody. Joe just sweetened it up for you there, right there.
Damn Skippy.
But yeah, no, seriously. So head over to PhillySportsTrips.com right now. So let's jump back into this. Hit a couple more of these comments, and then we'll go through them real quick. Let's see. Not after the bye. I guess he's saying, like, we didn't think it was the first one wouldn't be until after the bye. I would say Cincy or Tampa first loss. I mean, New Orleans, I think people look past them sometimes. Like, they could be a good team. Eagles pass rush and secondary will be tested against Burrow. That's a tough game. Yeah, I mean, healthy Burrow, that's a hard one right there. I think they could win the first four. Yeah, Adam, absolutely.
They absolutely could.
Possible. K1, hey K1, what's going on, bud? Bruh, we always lose to Washington. Well, we don't lose, but we barely win sometimes. Sometimes we make it much closer than it needs to be. Inning ends mercilessly for the Mets. There you go. Yes, that's it. They are in. Somebody just hit a home run over. I think it was JD Martinez hit a home run off a turnbull, but it's still 10-3, top of the eighth right now. I think the unexpected loss will be the Commanders game on 11/14, just 4 days rest, and Jaden Daniels owning the Eagles linebackers.
Hey, you know what? Something that none of us have said yet. The Eagles could lose to the Packers week 1. The way that Jordan Love and the Packers looked in the playoffs last year, I mean, they could come out and especially the way that the Eagles ended. I mean, you had one that was on absolute fire, possible, maybe conference final game and or championship game, and then you have the Eagles who just puttered out. Like, the Packers game is going to be a real test as well, especially with the new offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, the new Devin White, the rookies, Saquon Barkley, the ever-changing at the moment offensive line with Jason Kelce not returning, Jurgen sliding in, still a question mark at right guard. I mean, it could be an 0-1 start for the Eagles.
No, you're absolutely correct. And also, let's be honest. I mean, unless it was like Carolina, a team that was very lopsided on the ability side of things. This could come down to what team prepares better for being in Brazil and traveling to Brazil and not getting caught up in the moment. I mean, because you got one team looking for revenge, you got another team looking to continue where they got to cut short in their championship aspirations. Because I mean, Green Bay looked really bad last season up until Thanksgiving, and then they just turned it all on. And yeah,
they were on fire.
Marshawn saying we swept the Commanders, going back and forth with K1. Don't step on my narrative. We're always due for a close game in Washington. Absolutely. Win the Rams game. The letdown could be Ravens because of traveling from LA back home. Yeah, because you got to go home to Baltimore. But is that a letdown game? I mean, Baltimore's probably already
that's a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, it's the second best team in the AFC right now, and probably top 3 in the whole NFL, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because me and Joe will probably do our power rankings for next week, just based off schedule strength and all that stuff. So we'll do that next week, maybe. We did that last year.
K1's got a funny comment.
Eagles there it is. This is my secondary will be tested week 1. Laugh out loud. Yeah, right. Or we need to take over Giants Stadium on October 20th and show Saquon some love. The NFL gods putting the Eagles up against Edrin Cooper week 1 is just cruel. Eagles have never lost in Brazil ever. True, man. Absolutely, never lost to Brazil.
Way to be positive.
I love it, K1. We drafted the best Cooper. Facts. Oh, I'm saying facts as well. All right, so we hit some of these up, Joe. Let's go through this, and we just kind of talked about it a little bit. You're absolutely correct. This is a coin flip in my eyes. Green Bay Eagles, Brazil for game week 1. I'm going to write this down as we go along so we can see kind of what our unseen prediction would be, win-loss ratio. All right, so Joe, Al, I'm just going to put a check.
By the way, I just totally talked myself into an 0-1 start. I really did. I think the Eagles lose week 1.
Oh, really?
It's just, because now I'm in my own head about the new defensive coordinator, new offensive coordinator. What's Nick going to do with the play calling? Like, is it going to be 100% Kellen Moore? Offensive line. Like, it's just in my head that the way that the Packers finished and the way that the Eagles finished, and just the stability that the Packers have had within their coaching and their players, and just the question mark that the Eagles have right now.
We have not lost an international game. That's true.
We've only played one.
And we won, so we have not lost international.
That's fair.
Last game we played international was London. We won there. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to that one because that might make or break my decision making. All right, Joe, Atlanta, Monday night. Kirk Cousins comes to Philadelphia. We all know how this plays out, but what do you say?
Yeah, I'm saying that's a W.
Okay. Plus W. I'm saying W as well. In New Orleans against the Saints. What do you got for me?
Damn it. I'm saying this is a W as well. I think that the first 2 weeks could be slow starting, and I think this is where they really start to ramp it up. I think Saquon goes off by week 3.
Yeah, the Saints is kind of it's kind of toss up for me a little bit. I'm not saying a toss up. I mean, definitely the needle leans towards the Saints in my eyes. So I'm going to give them a W. Joe, Tampa Bay, 1:00 game, game 4 of the
Eagles
season.
win. Eagles win this game, hands down.
All right,
they got embarrassed by Tampa Bay in the wild card. I think this is one that they circle.
All right, so then we go into the bye week. Skip that. Sunday, 1:00, Cleveland. It's week 6 of the NFL. They're coming off the bye. How do you feel about it?
I'm only going W because it's at home and it's off a bye. If it was in Cleveland, I would think that Cleveland would have the edge.
I'm going to go loss on this one. I think they lose this one. Sunday, 1:00 at Giants. I'm going win.
Win, absolutely. Saquon revenge game.
Cincinnati, get Bengals.
Yeah, I'm going loss on this one. I think Joe Burrow has a huge bounce back year.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of, and I'm going to go with an L on that one too. And that's why I
don't know who the running back is right now. I know Joe Mixon went to Texans, right?
Yes. Let's see. Cincinnati. All right, Jacksonville. Joe, do you think they beat them Sunday Night Football here in South Philly?
Yeah, I'm going W on that one. I can't see them losing back-to-back Cincinnati and Jacksonville.
Yeah, I have a W as well. I thought they were going to, if I'm picking Cleveland and Cincinnati over the loss, I don't see them losing to Jacksonville. First game against Dallas in Dallas following Sunday afternoon, America's game. I'm surprised there's no Eagles-Dallas Sunday Night Football game. It's the first time in many years.
Yeah.
So what do you got for that one?
Oh, you know what? That last Dallas game could be flexed because that's a 425 game.
Depending on how good Dallas is too.
Exactly. First game in Dallas, I'm going loss on that one, just because they're going to split.
I'm going to go win in Dallas because I can see them splitting. I can see them splitting, but backwards.
Okay.
Because then they have the short week against Washington. This could be a letdown game because it's that short week, but I'm going to go with a win against Washington on Thursday Night Football at home.
Yeah, I'm going to win. I'm lost Dallas, win Washington.
Gotcha. Flying out to LA after that, get a little mini bye, 10-game bye, Sunday Night Football. Second Sunday Night Football in 4 games too, might I add. What would you say, Joe?
I'm going beat the Rams. I am. I think I really like our secondary. I really do. And I think that they're going to be able to shut down, maybe not shut down, but they're going to be able to contain, what the hell is his name? Pukanua or whatever his name is, and Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that our secondary is going to be able to contain those two big guys.
Yeah. With LA, I'm gonna go with the win to LA, but I'm gonna pick up a loss in Baltimore.
I am as well.
All right.
Which really makes me question if we should go to that game or not. If we're both predicting loss.
Listen, if we went by all our predictions, we would never go to any game.
Yeah, that's true.
Carolina, I'm going W. I think this is a kind of a consensus.
Yeah, this is going to be a get right game after Baltimore.
Pittsburgh at home, afternoon game, Joe. It's December 15th. Both using the colds of Pennsylvania. What do you got for me? Is Russell Wilson cooking again, Joe?
I'm going to go with the loss because I think the Steelers have an underrated defense.
I think the Steelers have a very good defense, but I think their offense is going to continue not to be good. And I'm going to go with a win on this one.
The Eagles never really play good against Russell Wilson, though. He always kind of carves them up. Like this could be that type of game.
You're right. It's a good point. Would you consider that a letdown if they lose the Steelers?
I wouldn't because of their defense, because Russell Wilson is with an actual good coach in Mike Tomlin. I can see and let's not forget, the Steelers, even behind Kenny Pickett last year, were not that bad of a team, at least, on record wise. I mean, they could pick up an extra two or three wins with Russell Wilson, and that puts them right in the conversation for the top of their division or a wild card.
Okay. Good point. All right, Joe. 3 games left. The last 3 games, they left all NFC East divisional rivals. One of them being away with Washington, the 2 at home Dallas Giants. What do you got for me for the Commanders in Washington, 1:00 game, December 22nd? Are you happy there's no Christmas Day game for the Eagles?
I know my wife is. Yeah. It doesn't bother me really either way.
Okay, so what do you got?
I'm going to win on this as well. I don't see the Commanders contending or giving up a tough game at all to the Eagles. Rookie quarterback, new head coach, is a whole lot of overturn over there in DC. So I don't see Washington spooking anybody really.
Okay. I'm going to go with a win too. I'm going to go to the Dallas game next. This is December 29th. Remember I told you, I said I could see them splitting. Yeah. I do think they still split. And I think they just do split different. They don't win. They win away games this one. And it could be because Dallas maybe isn't that good this year, and they're kind of cruising at this point. It could be a couple different reasons, but I'm going to go with a loss on the 29th.
Yeah, I'm going with a W on this one. They're going to split.
I know this sometimes can mean nothing if they're doing well enough and they just don't play their starters. They got the Giants. Of course, that last game, it's always TBD at this point, so we have no clue where it's at. I'm actually going to go with the W, even if they're bad.
You say you're writing these down. What do I have win-loss wise so far?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 losses.
5 losses at this point. So that would put them at 11-5. Yeah, I'm going W on this one too. I don't see them having less than 12 wins on the season.
So you put a W as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got your 5 losses. Now the only one I need to pick is the Green Bay one. Right now I have 4 losses. So if I went along with you on the Green Bay one, because this is a tough one. Like I think this really is a coin flip. You got 2 really good teams. You got a team looking for redemption. You have a team looking to continue where they left off from last year for the most part. Both teams I think made improvements in the offseason. It's just like who's clicking more? Who like did Saquon and the Eagles clicking faster? Is the Vic Fangio defense understanding their roles? The new young guys understanding their roles. I can definitely see a loss in this, Joe. I really can. So I'm going to put a loss. I'm going to go with you on
this. So we're both at 12-5, and if you really look at it, they finished what the hell? They finished 11-6 last year.
Yeah.
And that's with the gauntlet of what was last year and the historical collapse. So we're really only predicting them to have one more win than last season.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's the cynicalness of us. If it's just you always expect a letdown somewhere. Like I said, that Green Bay game can really burn us a little bit when it comes to playoff standings because of the NFCs. If they were playing that at home, week 6, 7, or 8, say you flip Cleveland out for that. Say Cleveland's in there or New York's in Brazil. I could see maybe swinging towards the Eagles with a W a little bit more.
Sure.
But we'll find. But no, I'm gonna stick with this. We're both at 12-5. I think it's a reasonable thought with this team being, still having many questions coming into it. Let's see.
Here's the other question. 12-5 gets you in the playoffs. However, is 12-5 good enough to win the division, or is Dallas just on that decline that 12-5 get you the division?
I think 12-5 can get you the division this year. If Dallas does go on that decline that we expect, I mean, what do they do? They added Zeke Elliott. Like
they did not do a thing.
They didn't do anything. They really didn't bolster their line. They got Cooper Beebe, which is all right, not a bad pick, but I mean, they really didn't bolster anything. Who are they throwing to, Joe? CeeDee Lamb?
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
That is it. Yeah, because Tony Pollard's gone, right? They brought back Zeke. I know their first 2 picks, they actually they bolstered their offensive line with 2 picks that I actually would have been fine with the Eagles drafting. So I mean, I can't completely say that they did nothing because they did improve their offensive line for years to come.
All right, let's hit some of these comments real quick, answering some up. Dive's saying Matty B voice 6-11, second worst in the NFC East. Yeah, it's pretty spot on. Big Al, reel him in, please. Laugh out loud. He's too anxious. Who starts for New Orleans?
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr, right? Derek Carr still there, correct?
Mm-hmm.
We've played Kirk Cousins a week 2 primetime game for 2 years in a row. Good point. That's a good point. And that's why I am the biggest Kirk Cousins hater. We all know that. But I haven't been wrong about him. You can call me a hater all I want, but have I been wrong about Kirk Cousins at all in anything I've said? He's mediocre at best.
I think so. I actually don't you just have this weird it's just exaggeration when it comes to Kirk Cousins. He's not that bad of a quarterback.
He's a mediocre quarterback. He shrinks in big moments. His primetime record proves it. By the way, Phil is W.
I agree with that. I get that. I know the primetime Kirk, and he even knows it. He knows it. I don't know if you watched the Netflix quarterback show from last offseason, which every quarterback on the damn thing had a connection with Philadelphia, from Marcus Mariota, Patrick Mahomes, and Kirk Cousins in some way. He's actually a very likable guy. He actually knows the stigma of him in prime time, and he kind of laughs about it. But either way, you look, and I understand he's had players around him, especially in Minnesota, but he's not that bad of a quarterback.
But
he's not.
Right. Let's look at this. I mean, even they have some offensive weapons for him in Atlanta, but he had arguably one of the best wide receivers in the NFL a few years now. He had at one point one of the better running backs in Dalvin Cook, right?
Sure.
Really good
Adam Thielen,
Kyle Rudolph, a decent O-line, and a really good defense. He fell apart. He missed things. I mean, I watch a lot of late Vikings games when he was playing, or trying to make the playoffs, and watch him just remember that game they butchered Dallas or something. They destroyed Dallas,
mm-hmm.
And then the next week they play a much lesser team. It's a Thursday night game or Sunday night game.
But isn't that exactly what we just said about Jalen Hurts? He goes out to LA, he wins the game, comes back the next week and loses to the Giants. These things happen. Just because his name is Kirk Cousins doesn't mean it's automatically going to happen.
It's kind of starting to feel like that. Phillies need a pitching change. I guess we're a little late on that comment right now.
Yeah.
Saints have Derek Carr. Yep. Rojas' defense is leaking. Yeah, a little bit today. He was blaming the rain in his eyes. It was kicking up at that time, but Yeah, he should have caught that ball. 10-5 game, top of the 8th. Oh, yes. Phillies are rolling 44-6 against Dallas. Yeah,
That's a prediction.
I don't know if
that's the score.
Was that the Vikings game we were talking about.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Reagan is saying, remember everyone picked Bills, Kansas City, and Miami last year, and they all lost us. Yeah, but we also picked that the last half of the season we would probably lose one game. We won one game, so predictions mean jack, Reagan, in this case. This is Rams. This is Rams without Aaron Donald.
Oh, good call. Good call. I forgot that he retired.
That Rams team was getting a little better towards the end of the season. Yeah, no, Aaron Donald does play a big factor in the situation, but offensively they're a much better team. You have your quarterback's healthier. You have some second year with one of the unless they're Puka Chua has kind of like a slide off.
I think Pukanua, I think it is.
Whatever.
Something like that. Give me the spelling. It's Puka something.
Akuna Matata, as Marshawn called him. Puka Nua. Yeah. Winning last 5 games of the season. We thought that last year too. So maybe I'm trying not to put that juju out there. So it comes back and bites us in the butt. Adam saying
I know it's pretty wild, man. Pretty wild that after LA, there's no more plane rides. They essentially could all feel like home games with the way that our Eagles fans travel.
Yeah,
especially with Philly sports trips.
Yeah, man, that could make you're absolutely right. That could make a big difference there. But like you said, I think where I said it when kind of comment on you, it's actually closer to go to Baltimore than it is to go to the Washington Stadium. So yeah, I mean, I think it's all but a done deal for us taking over. Tanner McKee season against the Giants. Yeah, that'd be nice. Wilson won't even be playing by December. It's a good point. I don't know, man. Do you really fear Russ is cooked? Not cooking anymore, but cooked?
No, I actually think that he can play a little bit still.
Marshawn saying you need to go over your past traumas of Russell Wilson.
But you know what? Here's the thing: is they also traded for Justin Fields. So even if Russ is injured or is cooked and benched, I mean, Justin Fields is still a very young, talented backup, possible starting quarterback for the future of the Steelers. And he gave the Eagles a hard time 2 seasons ago in a game that actually hurt Jalen Hurts' collarbone, and they almost lost that game. So even if Justin Fields plays that game, it's still going to be a tough game regardless.
I mean, ultimately, I would probably say I fear the defense of Pittsburgh more than anything.
TJ Watt's insane, so of course.
Yeah, so that honestly, you make good points, and those probably add a little icing to the cake to me. But really, it would be the defense. If our offense can overcome it, I think it's an Eagles win easily, not easily, but pretty handedly. Kenny Pickett and Tanner McKee are loving the last 3 games of the season with Dallas firing their head coach around that time. TBD equals the Birds dominate. Yes, I like that thought, Marshawn. 5 losses, fire Sirianni.
I read a headline earlier, and it was John Ritchie from the WIP Morning Show saying that it is a real possibility that Nick Sirianni is fired mid-season or something. First off, John Ritchie, you're lucky to even still have a job, buddy. I don't think that you are one that should be talking about the future employment of anybody. So let's just stop with that nonsense.
Well, and to me, that's kind of a silly statement in the sense and he could get hit by a bus walking to work the next day. I mean, it's could he? Yeah. Is it likely? Not really.
No, and what would even make that happen? Like an 0-8 start, which will never happen.
Well, I can't say never, but yeah, it most likely not to happen.
0-8, that ain't happening.
Goff getting an extension as
huge money.
Dallas, yeah. That was I know we really don't talk about it much, but I think that extension was a little wild. I mean,
4 years, 4 years, 212, 53 mil each. Holy crap!
Jared Goff,
that's insane.
Really had a resurgence or whatever the hell you want to call it. in Detroit. I give him a lot of credit, but
I give him credit too. I do.
Tell me if you had where do you put Goff in the hierarchy of 32 teams starting quarterbacks? How about this? Top 10.
I would say he's borderline top 10, especially with the way that they played last season.
I don't know about top 10, but I would have to go through the quarterbacks to really say that. But I don't think top 10.
Top 12?
12, yeah. Definitely 15, maybe 12 in there. Yeah. So, I mean, but do you think they paid a lot of money for him and they could have, maybe done better with a different it could be a world of a difference with a different quarterback? Or do you think do you think Gobbs can win him a championship?
I do.
Okay. I mean, I know
I think he has a really good supporting cast. The defense is really good. Campbell is a very good aggressive coach. I actually give the Lions a great deal of credit for last season, and they're going to be a thorn in a lot of team side I mean, they just gave Amon St. Brown huge money. They just gave Goff huge money. They had a really, really solid draft in their own backyard in Detroit this year. I mean, they could be a very scary team going forward. Are they a Super Bowl contender? I think that they actually could be. That NFC North is screwed.
I think right now they're definitely division leaders, top in their division right now, and got to be just looking in the NFC top 4 easily.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're in my eyes,
they gave them they had to do it now because of the market with quarterbacks changing, because every year going forward the salary cap is going to continue to grow and grow, much like we saw I think it's the most it's ever grew over this past offseason. And of course, Howie took advantage of it, and it was fantastic. But you see what Howie did with the extension of Jalen Hurts. He got it out of the way before all these big numbers came up. Like $53 million a season is unheard of. It's unreal. And Dak is out there wanting 60, and Jerry has no idea what to do, and he can't do anything. It's awesome. Sorry, went on a rant.
Dive is saying can't go 12 wins yet until I see this defense on the field. The Eagles have been paper champions during the offseason before. We'll all see it after, we'll see where they're at after 10 games. That's a good point. I keep going back to that too. Until we see what, Vic Fangio, he might need a full year to get guys to, season and find out what he has with a lot of these young guys and, some of these guys going forward. But yeah, I mean, there is still a very large question mark going into it, Joe. What are your thoughts on that?
I understand the sentiment. I really do. But if you're not saying they're a 12-win team, that means they're 11 or less, which means they are a more inferior team than last season. And with last season, it being such a dramatic drop-off at the end of it, historical collapse, as we have all said, till we're blue in the teeth, I can't see this Eagles team with these additions being worse than the team from last year.
Okay. I mean, I get your point too. They're both good points. I mean, there is just some major question marks still out there, and until we find out, how if they can answer the call, we'll find out on that as well. Let's see. Oh, and guys, real quick before I go through the rest of these comments, cherryinjurylaw.com. David R. Cherry's your man with the plan. If you get hurt at work, hurt in a motor vehicle accident, personal injury, or criminal law, go to cherryinjurylaw.com or call David Cherry directly at 610-565-0300. Again, 610-565-0300. Go to Cherry Injury Law for all your workers' comp, motor vehicle, personal injury, and criminal law needs. A couple more comments here, and then we'll move past here. Maybe talk a little Phils. Kirk Cousins equals Tony Romo.
I can't go that far. Romo was awful. That's another guy. I just can't believe he got so much love from the league. And now he's getting love as a commentator too. No, I just think he sucks. I think he's always sucked. I think he sucks as a commentator too. I just don't get the love for Tony Romo. Never have.
I don't know either. 3 years in a row, actually, against Kirk Cousins in week 2. Oh, it's actually 3 years in a row.
Wow.
Week 2 prime time. And I believe we're 2-0 right now. Huh?
Yeah.
Titans win. We know that. Yep. Truthfully, I like the schedule a lot more than last year's for the last 5 at home with this team starting to gel heading into the postseason. I like it. Yeah, and to kind of bring it back up real quick, because Joe, you pointed this out. After that LA game, Baltimore can be a home game. Carolina is a home game. Pittsburgh is a home game. Washington can be very much a home game because they can take over most of those areas. I mean, like I said,
we have.
And like I said earlier, if you go to after the bye week, there's only 3 really plane rides after that. You got Cleveland, Cincy, and LA. Everything else is a bus ride for them.
Yeah, it's pretty unreal.
So that does play in their favor, and probably another reason that's the schedule, is with percentage or whatever they call it, toughness percentage or however they refer to it as, is as low as it is. Let's see. All right, drinking the Kool-Aid. The Eagles don't have to get on a plane after week 12. Yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about. But like I said, only 3 plane rides for after the bye week is pretty crazy too. We scared of Justin Fields. I'm not really afraid of Justin Fields. I think he's a better quarterback than some people give him credit for. But to say I'm afraid of him, no. Eagles win 14-3 or go 14-3. That would be the perfect world, little G. But I don't know about. That might be a lot to ask for next year.
14-3.
Yeah, I mean, you probably come out on a tear. You win your first 4 games. If you're 14-3, let's pull this back up again. If you're 14-3, get rid of this comment. What 3 games do you lose? Do you lose Cincy? You lose Baltimore
and Dallas.
In 1 Dallas game. Everything else you win. I mean,
here's my thing: if they start off hot and go 4-0, I'm going to be even more pissed that they have a bye week 5. Yeah, they got to keep that momentum going.
Yeah. We pay special attention to the defense in the preseason. All the offense needs to do is run the scheme well, and maybe the scheme should need to be run well. They
showed nothing in preseason.
Yeah, like it's all vanilla or barely even vanilla. Adam, that's why I stick to podcasts like this rather than radio guys. You guys know your stuff and real facts. Great show, guys. Thank you, Adam, as always.
Thanks, Adam.
ESPN is going to be pissed when Aaron Rodgers goes down week 2 after giving the Jets the most primetime games this year at 6.
Wow.
And don't they start off the season against the Niners, correct?
I actually don't know, but
I think they do. I have to check that.
So Rodgers going up against a team he's always wanted to play for.
Yeah, right. That's funny too. Blue in the teeth. Oh, he meant blue in the face. Yeah, we got you.
I meant what I said. What I said.
You're gonna stick with who you are. All right. He meant blue in the teeth. You never heard that?
I said blue in the teeth, and that's exactly what I said.
Come on, K1, get it right. K1 loves Cherry Andrew Law. He's a morning show specialist. He's one of the core 12 as they call him, and he loves his cherry injury reads. I like the Birds going 13-4, Mike. I would love the Birds going 13-4. I don't know if I can pick that right now. Cousins and Romo.
It's wild. It's wild how I'm looking at 13-4 in my head. I'm going, oh, there's no way. But realistically, I'm at 12-5. So I mean, how can I be that shocked if they go 14-3?
Because I think you 12-5 is even a little much for.
Or 13-4. 13-4. Sorry.
Yeah. Cousins and Romo have nearly identical career stats. It's eerie, actually. Oh, really? I'll have to check that out. AFC North is going to grind it out in games. Yeah, I mean, the Vikings, I don't know about the Vikings. I don't even know. Who's their quarterback? Who's the Vikings quarterback right now?
I don't know.
Yeah. So the Bears can improve, but I don't expect anything crazy this year.
I mean, they drafted somebody, right? They had to.
He's saying, I'm doing NFC. He's saying AFC. Bengals. I mean, not Bengals. Why am I forgetting who in the North is? Am I gonna? Yeah. So I was right. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot tougher. It's going to be a lot tougher. Now I know what you're saying. I got the NFC North in my head for a second. Mavs beating OKC tonight.
I don't know.
I think OKC wins.
I think OKC wins too.
And actually, I think I really do. I think ultimately, if you want my prediction, it's going to be Celtics versus Nuggets in the finals. But I think it's going to be a hell of a story going up to it. To Tony Woods, double T Tony Woods, New Orleans and Green Bay. I don't know what he means by that, but yeah, they are playing that. Oh, I'm just thinking about Green Bay. I'm just thinking about Green Bay. All right, go OKC and Sam Donaldson. Oh, Sam Sam Darnold. I think he meant. Is Sam?
Oh,
Is Sam
yeah.
Darnold? Sam Darnold's been okay. All right. Well, yeah, that's.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And guys, reminder: if you're, like Adam said, he loves hanging out with us and watching us. There is plenty here going on at EoP. Here's just a taste of everything going on tonight. If you missed earlier today, if you missed it, trending in the AM on the Shane page was on during lunchtime. Philly Press Box Radio had Glenn Mack now on, kind of doing his farewell tour because he retires from radio in July. Of course, it wasn't on there earlier because it was kind of added in. We had the schedule release with Dibes and Ryan, of course, right now at EoP Sports, and there's a Titans final, I'm sure, going on shortly at one point to talk about this Mets win. So, and then tomorrow, Trending the AM returns at 8 a.m. Football Stories will be back on at 5 p.m. Fly Like an Eagle will be on. Talking Third at 9, talking about the Union. I know they have a match going on right now in the Titans final, and I will be personally in the press box tomorrow, so stay tuned to all the EoP social media so we can put out all the things going on for you. So hopefully looking for – now, let me ask you a question, Joe, and I know how it is. So this is technically a 2-2 series, right?
Yes.
Yes. But
yes.
Is it a sweep? Was it a sweep last night, or will you consider it a sweep tomorrow night if they win?
I would consider the. Well, I would. Yeah. No, I mean, listen, it's a 2-game sweep regardless. They played 2 in New York. They're playing 2 here. They won 2 in New York. It's a 2-game series. They swept them. They won tonight. Regardless of what happens tomorrow, they can't lose this series. If you want to, you could look at it as just a 4-game, package deal. But no, I think on paper, when it comes to records, it's a sweep from yesterday. And new series today, and they can't lose this one now.
Let's see. Marshawn saying seeing Isaiah Joe start OKC is sad. Yeah, I mean, they let him go for nothing too. Didn't they?
Dude,
just let him walk?
He's shooting like 50%. Yeah, he's shooting like 50% too. It's unreal.
And they just let him walk. Got nothing out of the deal. That's why I'm really nervous about anything for the Sixers next year. But
by the way, we actually sent someone to the Phillies game tonight. The winner from our first event at the Streetlight Cafe. Someone won the tickets to tonight's game.
What was her name again? I'm sorry, I'm blanking out. I have it over here, but
we give away so many tickets. I forget all names except for Adam right now.
Yeah, so many tickets given away. So guys, you don't say Marshawn is just must not be named. I'm still not over yet. Yeah, still hurting. Do you think? Do you think those games can be tough? Oh, okay. So, do you think the Green Bay games in New Orleans? Yeah, absolutely. I think New Orleans is not a great team, but they always give us a hard time. Tampa Bay, we can go either way. Really, it's one of those. It's early on in the season. It depends on what team you have. Do they come out hot and then fizzle out later? Those two teams. But yeah, no. It could definitely be tougher than listen, it's that NFL. Any given Sunday, anything can be tough in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, Brazil, it's such a foreign area. I don't think that either team knows exactly what to expect down there. It's a soccer field. They probably don't know. They don't know. They don't know the conditions of the field. There's so many different factors that can go into this that I have actually talked myself into the Eagles losing Week 1 in Brazil to the Packers.
There you go. You guys have a lot of shows. Hard to keep up with you guys. Hey, that's why there's always something for you to watch. We don't listen. If you're watching everything we put out, God bless you.
We owe you more Phillies tickets.
Yeah. God bless you, and God bless like the free time that you have, because I'm super jealous right now. But even we own the company, and me and Joe don't have time to sit down and watch everything. So bless you if you do, Adam. Dives despicable, waving him Joe for no reason. Despicable, yes. Isaiah Joe. Union lost again tonight. Oh, yeah, they kind of on a downward slide. We'll hear more about that tomorrow, I'm sure. And also there'll be an article out shortly our newest arrival, Steve Fuentes, is down there covering the game for Edge of Philly Sports for all you Union heads. Joe and I just told you everything we know about the Union, that they're down at Subaru Park.
We know that they lost tonight. That's about
and
it.
We were told that one. We just know they play at Chester at Subaru Park.
That's fair.
Congratulations to Glenn. He did a great job. I don't know who.
Yeah, absolutely. Glenn Macnow.
Glenn Macnow, yeah. Did not trust Daryl Morey at all. Just such a terrible move. Not my.
You know what? Now that we're mentioning the Sixers, I don't want to go on a full.
We can switch over.
All right. I was watching that Nuggets game last night, and I was watching Jokic, and it's night and day. Like, I don't think my eyes were ever so open to just a comparison of Jokic and Joel. This guy is so exciting to watch, and I mean, it was very exciting basketball, and that's not what we were watching the Sixers play. Obviously down the stretch, but definitely in the playoffs. Like, it's just unbelievable. I can't compare the two anymore. I mean, Jokic is better than Joel Embiid. I can't believe that I wasn't. I was so surprised at what I saw last night in comparison to what I watched with the Sixers in the playoffs and the Nuggets in the playoffs. There's no comparison anymore to me.
I had a patient ask me today, Joe, is the difference between Jokic, because we were talking about how I didn't watch last night's game. I'm going to just be honest, but he was, we were talking about it, and he was one of many people said last night, just watching him play, put on a clinic, was amazing. And he asked me, is the real big difference to you, or to between the two of them, is health?
Yeah.
If Joel Embiid didn't have, if Joel Embiid didn't have his health
I also
scares,
think he wants it more. I think Jokic just wants it more. There's an intensity in him on the court that you don't see in Joel Embiid. And I'm not taking anything away from Joel Embiid. The resume is there. 2-time scoring champ, league MVP. He's probably going to win a gold with Team USA in Paris in a couple months. The only thing this guy has yet to do is win a championship. But outside of all that, the resume, just the feel for their game, it's just completely different to me. I think Jokic wants it more. But yes, health obviously is a big factor as well.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not the defining factor, the difference for you, right?
No, not at all. Not.
I said the same thing. I said a little bit. I wonder is a mental thing, because we all talk about how, like, we watch and every time something happens, Joel at any point, but especially in the playoffs. But, like, is it in his head now? Is he so afraid? Like we saw, he was very tentative this season because of his knee, which whatever. Mm-hmm. But, like, even if he didn't have the knee surgery, would he still be tentative? Because them playing against each other it's a regular season games when we only see it, but when they play against each other, I don't want to say they cancel each other out sometimes, but, like, it could be a difference maker there. But Jokic clearly is.
He has a better overall game. Some of the dimes, the passes I saw him do last night were like jaw dropping. Like, how is this guy that big of a goon, and he has this type of presence on the court? It's really impressive to watch.
Yeah, I like how you do that. I don't know if you guys ever watched the old Pumping Iron documentary. It was like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lou, and like Lou Ferrigno, like, one of the best lines in that movie. It wasn't that meant to be funny, but it comes off very funny. It's like Lou Ferrigno talking to his father about seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger in person for the first time, and he's like, and here comes Arnold. He walks over, and he's like, and all I can think of, and everything he sounds like he's going to say something very profound. He goes, "He's big." Like, that was the whole point, like, of that, like, the whole thing. That's what it kind of reminded me of when you said it that way. Jokic clears Joel in the postseason play. I take Joel 1-on-1 against Jokic. In a healthy,
I think Jokic makes better decisions, though. I think he has a better IQ on the court than Joel Embiid. We see Joel Embiid do a lot of boneheaded things, and I don't know if it's because of the stage, the size of the stage, and it could be in his head. I don't know what it is, but it's such a switch from the regular season to the playoffs. And Jokic seems to be on that constant every single game.
I think Marshawn's going to agree with you, looking kind of down here a little bit. Joker knows how to play the game. He does it all. Just kind of going along with what you said, Joe. Joey, you're right, but the Nuggets roster construction versus the Sixers roster is night and day. Yeah, I mean, but the Nuggets are kind of ahead of what we've been talking about, and what scares me the most, Ives, is that it's like we're stuck on a wheel. We're rats on a wheel or gerbils on a wheel, whatever you want to call us, and we're talking about star hunting again for guys who are past their prime again. What have the Nuggets done? They have really good players, like top tier players, not superstars, not aging superstars, but guys who play their roles, but play them at a very high degree. And that's what I want.
Well,
I don't want these
here's a perfect example. Perfect example of what you're saying right now. Aaron Gordon was absolute ass when he was with Orlando, and then he goes to Denver and he has a complete career resurgence. And I don't know if it's because he just turned into this really good third threat, or if it's because he's playing around a Jamal Murray and a Jokic and it's just elevating his game. I don't know what it is, but he had a complete 180 going from Orlando to Denver.
Yeah. No, absolutely. You make a good point there. And this conversation is why it's hard to see this big cup here, but this is why I'm drinking bourbon out of this cup tonight.
Nice.
The glass wasn't enough. Somebody got me a little Angel's Envy, and I've been cracking into it a little earlier than I usually do. But Marshawn saying health, IQ, heart. Yeah. I think especially the two latter ones make a difference as well. Like, I'm not saying that Joel doesn't have heart. I'm not going to say that, but
no,
and maybe the health, maybe not so much heart, but confidence, and maybe because of the health issues, his confidence is a little lacking. And maybe the IQ is not even the IQ issue. It's because of what they've surrounded him with. He feels like he has to put this team on his back, and he has to carry them, and he has to be the guy with it. Or maybe it's an ego thing, but I think it's more the first one personally, especially this day and age, or these last few years. Like, you go about 4 or 5 years back, I could probably would have swung the other way. And yeah, Marshawn, those are the differences. All right, here's our boy Phil. Seeing Daryl Morey bashing in this comment section is making me happy. Makes us all a little happy. Look at the Nuggets, T-Wolves, etc. All these teams' rosters have cohesion and are so much better built than the Sixers, 100%. And young, they surround their good young players too. I mean, let's be honest on that one. The T-Wolves have one of the best young players in the league.
I mean, I know Dives is a teacher. I'm gonna need him to explain to me what adhesion means, because this is not something. Cohesion. See, I can't even say it right. This is not something that's in my. Hey, I'm not asking you. I'm asking the teacher. Okay.
Okay. All right.
It's not in my vocabulary. Dumb it down for me, please.
By the way, my third graders spelling word last week was cohesion. Just throwing it out there. Just putting it out there.
Well, you know that there's a reason why they have those shows like, Are You Dumber Than a Third Grader? Like, yeah, this is the reason.
Joel unfortunately doesn't pack his nuts in big games. I got to start reading these before I read them out loud. Thank you, Marshawn.
Nah, keep them coming.
No, he always gets me good with one of these when I'm on a roll. Can anyone tell me what the Sixers' identity is on the court? Asking for a friend. Yeah, that is
cohesion.
Yeah, it's cohesion. It's in a box marked cohesion. Choking die. Oh, Jesus. The Sixers choked when they forced Sam Hinkie out. Let down.
No, that wasn't even the Sixers. That was Adam Silver. That was one of the most egregious things ever. That he can just come in and say, you know what, Sam Hinkie, you're out because we don't like what you're doing with the tanking and the process, blah, blah, blah. And then you bring in Brian and Jerry Colangelo, who completely turned the goddamn team upside down. There's burners from his wife. That was a complete S show from Adam Silver.
Yeah. Let down and no fight. These are the identity of the Sixers. Yeah, it feels like that. They are painfully soft. Roster construction is not the same as star hunting. 100%, Phil. I've been saying that and pounding my chest since. Actually, that's why I was very high on this team in the beginning of the season, because I'm like, all right, there isn't this superstar who needs to come in and be added in and try to find their cohesion with the other two guys, and try to find out who's Batman, who's Robin. Like, that's why I think they had such a good start. Really, to be honest with you, of course, the injury bug really didn't help. But Gerber soft. Joey with a great comment. Aaron Gordon is an elite role player, just like Michael Porter Jr. Yep. Gordon did say that Joker definitely helped his game. Well, that I think is a big difference there too. Is Joel elevating his game or elevating guys around him as well?
If he was elevating the players around him, they probably wouldn't have had a first round exit. So I'm going to have to say that it was none of the above, really.
Marshawn's saying it's okay to call Joel fraud. I don't know if I'm going to use the term fraud just yet. Because, Joe, honestly, would you entertain any thoughts of trading Joel Embiid today?
The only reason I would say no is because of basically what's going on with the team right now. And like Joel Embiid and Maxey are the only two under contract. Everybody else is a free agent. They don't even have a starting five roster right now. So if you're going to trade Joel Embiid, that means you have Maxey. And that means it is the complete start over of the process or whatever you want to label at this time. So for that fact, knowing that it's Embiid and Maxey, and what you're going to try and do is build around at least one of them, probably Joel, and you have all the money in the world, that's the only reason I wouldn't entertain a trade right now, because of what this offseason could bring to the team.
Yeah. No, I mean, my other thing is I'm not out on Joel like a lot of other people. I think the Sixers have not done enough for him in the sense of around him, more or less. Just finding one guy to put all your eggs in a basket for one guy and not worrying about the other guys on the court and the other couple guys on the court and the other guys on the bench is a huge mismanagement problem.
I'm gonna bring this guy's name up one time and one time only, and I want to ask you just to get your overall thought about this. Now, the Sixers have number 16 in the draft. It's not a lottery pick. We've seen them, I mean, at least Maxey, we've seen them get him at 21. We've seen them trade number 23 to get the Anthony Melton. At number 16 could bring in a solid player. But would you take the risk of drafting Bronny to get LeBron James here for a year or two?
I don't want LeBron James here. I don't.
Okay.
Here's my thing is, and we'll talk about in a second, the three aging superstars that keep getting connected. Of course, LeBron James, the other one, Paul George, and then the other one, Jimmy Butler, right? I want to just touch on this comment because it looks like Dibes is selling his body and many other things. I would do dirty, nasty things for the Sixers to get wings like Gordon and MPJ. Is the Joker up there with Giannis as an overall player? I think Joker's over Giannis.
I think so.
In my eyes. Now, I know Giannis is 1-1, but Giannis to me.
Well, then Jokic is 1-1 as well.
That's right. They both won 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He won it last year.
Yeah, that's right. But my thing is like Giannis to me is he's really good. He's really athletic. He's really good. I mean, he has a really good cast around him too. I just don't see him as a leader. I think Jokic is the best leader IQ wise of the three of those: Embiid, him, and Giannis. So, yeah, no, I think Joker's over Giannis. If you're saying now you get to pick any three of those guys to start a franchise with, yeah, Joker's probably the guy I'd pick out of that.
Yeah.
Dibes, relax. Maybe JoJo helped Maxey. I mean, James Harden helped Maxey a little bit. He gave him credit for that. I mean, gave him a lot of credit for that.
I will not disrespect Tyrese Maxey to the point of saying that it is Joel Embiid who helps him, because we saw Maxey the majority of the season without Joel Embiid, and he's up there playing as a superstar, the superstar that we all knew he could be. I think Maxey is a talent on his own. I don't think that he needs a Joel Embiid around him.
Well, I think one thing we learned from him this year, and I think he learned a little bit in the postseason this year, is that he needs to stop being too much of a Robin and sometimes just take things in his own hand a little bit. Like sometimes it's not often you hear a superstar in the or a star in the NBA have that problem. So I don't know if it's a good thing, bad thing, but it's kind of a little refreshing, I guess, in some ways to think about.
Yeah, when the Sixers offense revolves around Tyrese Maxey and he has the ball in his hands a majority of the time, that is when he shines.
Marshawn
First option is always Joel Embiid, and that's not what he needs.
Yeah. Ain't no way to elevate Tobias Harris' game. Laugh out loud. He has the confidence of a virgin. Muffin Mike. Cohesion, noun, the act of or state of sticking together tightly.
Thank you very much.
Ricky Council is greater than Tobias Harris. The biggest addition to the Sixers offseason is a subtraction of Tobias Harris. He effing stinks. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with you on that. And like I said, I used to kind of like, everybody always compares him to the numbers that he makes. You can't do that. Nah, I don't know, Joe, in your eyes, I guess Ben Simmons was the bigger disappearing act, but not much difference. Not much difference about coming up small and in big moments and just, at times it felt like they were playing. I forgot, Tobias Harris is on the court.
The Sixers
I was watching a game like that.
The Sixers in the past 7 or 8 years just have a history of guys disappearing when they come to this team. Ben Simmons, obviously, Markelle Fultz, Tobias Harris. The list just goes on and on. For whatever reason, these careers kind of die when these guys come here, and then they leave, and they have, at least Fultz had a little bit of resurgence down in Florida. But it's just Tobias Harris is gone. But I think another player you have to look at, and the Sixers need to take advantage of this loophole in the contract of Paul Reed, to where the money and the years aren't guaranteed if they didn't make it out of the first round of the playoffs. As of right now, his contract is null and void, and they need to stick to it and do not pick up any option or whatever it is to bring him back for the next 2 seasons. Let him walk and get another big that can actually do something.
Your lips,
stinks.
God's ears. I gotta say that. I'm over the B-ball Paul thing. I made that abundantly clear. Still over him. Adios.
Him and his dumbass headband.
Yeah, adios. See you later. That is one of the big key pieces. Is an actual. Listen, Joel Embiid's a big man, and an athletic big man, but he's not a center. He's just not a center. He doesn't play like a center. He's at the top of the key most of the time. He is not a center. So to continue to try to force that round peg into a square hole, you really need a guy who can fill the space up for him, and is not a subtraction when he leaves the court. That's the difference. When he leaves the court, it's like watching money just kind of pop out of your account. It's like Joe making bets. He's going to mush.
100%.
But ultimately, yeah, that is a big difference maker. Real quick, guys, for all you who are still hanging out with us, thank you, by the way, because I know it's a little later here tonight with all the schedule dropping and the Phillies game and the rain and all that stuff. Speaking of Phillies, some of our favorite Phillies players of the past, John Kruk, Mickey Morandini, will be at Dolan's Bar for Wiffle Ball Mania. We will be there Saturday, May 25th. So that's a week from this Saturday, by the way. 24 East Sellers Avenue, Ridley Park. Come on down. It is a great time. It is a very awesome way to come and hang out with some former Phillies, play a little wiffle ball, have a good time with a bunch of great people at Dolan's. PJ always knows how to throw a good party. So come on out, Dolan's Bar. Go to dolansbar.com and follow them on all social media. We'll keep you guys posted as well. And EoP will be there. So come check it out and come say hi to us, because if Joe's going to be there, it's worth the trip, right?
Oh, I'm going to be there.
Maybe we should put you on the graphic, right in the middle, like this, and then you have little Mickey Morandini, little John Kruk there, if you want to stop by and say hi to these guys.
Yeah, I think there's no other option at this point. You brought it up. This has to be done now.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to have to jump on that. I'm going to work a little late tonight, guys. Thanks a lot.
That's fine.
I don't want to see LeBron here either, according to Adam. I don't want to see LeBron here. Now, with that being said, if LeBron came here and the other baggage crap didn't come along with it, I'd be okay.
Can you imagine?
I wouldn't hate it, but I really I don't want that. I don't think he is the difference. I think of all the age superstars that we got here who could make a bit of a difference, him and Jimmy Butler could make a difference, but I don't know if it's enough to get us over the top. Does the problem with him, does the ego versus ego thing become a problem?
Probably. But can you imagine the mop up timeouts that they would have with Embiid and LeBron James on the same team, and them crying over every damn call? The floor would just be full of tears and just stills of them going like this, yelling at refs. They need to stop. You know me. You know I hate LeBron James. And I have come to the conclusion that I would put my hatred on the back burner for a championship for a year.
Dude, I'll put my hatred on the back burner for anybody. If you told me any guy that I hate, if Kirk Cousins was going to win us a championship, I put my hatred for him on the back burner. I won't believe you until it happens, but I would put you on the back burner. I listen. If you tell me there's a good chance we can win this, I'll work with almost anybody. We got Dibes turning tricks over here. I think I can at least do that. I'm just saying. But no. I mean, I don't see you hate LeBron. You have a seething hate for LeBron.
I don't dislike him as a basketball player. I don't like him as a person. I think he is a dog-ass person in real life. So that's how deep I feel about this. But hey, if it's a championship for a year,
Well, at this point, you kind of have to sell your soul to the devil for a year. We're always worried about, we get this going, and then we win one, and then maybe we win another one in the next few years too. We could have a bit of a dynasty maybe. But at this point, I'll just take one. Joe, we were not even 1 year old when they won the last championship.
100%. Okay? Yeah. Well, yeah. I wasn't even born.
Oh, yeah, it was right before you were born. I was what, 4 months, 5 months old?
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably 5 or 6 months. Yeah.
You were like 3 months or so, 4 months or so from being born. You were celebrating in utero. You were doing little cartwheels in utero. So let's hit a couple more of these up. Tony's saying someone has to tell JoJo to under the basket like Moses and stop playing guard. That might be the hardest thing in the world to do. I'll be honest with you. It just what's it called? The zebra don't change his stripes type situation. Can he do that? I would. To be honest with you,
go ahead.
I'm reading this comment here, and I kind of agree with it a little bit. I hate to say it, but I would take Ben over Tobias because of he actually played defense.
I would do that as well.
If I had to be stuck with one of them, and maybe Ben's like, all right, I'm gonna play defense. There's no superstar moniker above my head or anything. I'm trying to earn I just want to play defense. I just don't think that boy has a heart to play basketball, personally.
Dude, it's amazing that, and it's amazing that Tobias Harris's swan song as a Sixer, his stat line was so flatline. It's unbelievable the presence he had in that game, or non-presence, I should say. Unbelievable.
Come on, man. It's ridiculous. And you started. That's the other thing. It's one thing if you're coming off the bench, you didn't get a lot of playing time, whatever. You're right about Maxey. He has a lot of heart, and he's played better without JoJo. So you were talking. He's kind of replying to what you said, Joe. The Sixers and Nick Nurse have to focus on offense centering around Tyrese Maxey this offseason. B cannot continue to have the same usage percentage. Yeah, no, that's another thing. If you want to salvage him, you might have to keep that. I know we don't like load management and all that stuff, but maybe it's the mileage on his legs and all that stuff we have to worry about. The Sixers offense had zero clue what to do with Joe Embiid on the bench. No, and hasn't for many years. It's not just this year. Every time he goes to the bench, and I know we always bring up Andre Drummond. He was the best option they had when to spell Embiid, but and by the way, he's not the answer anymore, guys. Can we get over Andre Drummond? You would have thought he won us a championship the way people swoon over Andre Drummond. Want to feel like shit? Nah, not really, but thanks. Joe Embiid was 24 years old when the Sixers signed Tobias Harris to a max deal. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Dibes.
In fact, I actually did know that because I think I saw Dibes post it on Facebook on Twitter the other day.
Yeah,
or whatever it's called now, X, whatever.
X. All right, Joe. Before we got a little time left here, but I want to talk about your fighting Phils, our fighting Phils. So what are they now? 32 or
31?
31, man. People ask for them to come out hot.
Yeah.
How much hotter can you be at this point?
Unfortunately, the only way to go is down from here.
Are
you sitting on the edge of your seat waiting for the other shoe to drop a little bit?
I'll be honest with you. I was. I really thought the change to May was going to plummet. I thought they had a good April, and then they were going to we're going to May, we're going to be really good, and there was going to be some catch up moment in their head. I don't worry about it now, because here's my thing: is we're halfway through May now. Okay, you got 2 more weeks of May to play some Phillies baseball, and even if they go right now, how many games have they lost in May? 1?
Not many, 1 or 2.
2, yeah. I mean, if they go 500 for the rest of the month, it's still the best May they've had in like 10 years, I think it is, if I looked at that correctly.
Dude,
Like,
they haven't lost a series since the first 2 series. They've either won or split. I mean,
what do you have to do to win series? That's the key. That's the name of the game. Win series.
They're finding ways to win, and it is so enjoyable to watch. Like, we're so used to waiting for 2 months into the season to see the Phillies kind of make that switch and really start to go on a run. I mean, even just look at last year. Like, yeah, they essed the bed for the first 2 months. June hit, and then they were one of the hottest teams in baseball for the remainder of the season. And then they go to another, NLCS. Unfortunately, they lose. I mean, and again, like, I don't want to jump the shark here with it being so early in the season, but like, does this have the potential to be one of the best Phillies teams we have ever witnessed, especially in our lifetime?
Funny thing is, you say that. I was about to sit there and say,
Nice.
right, to kind of follow up with you, is this team has a lot of 09, 2010 vibes to me. And especially 09. And I always tell that story where, I was doing a sleep study, and they were down 8-1, and they came back in the 9th inning and beat the Dodgers 9-8 and all that stuff. Just like,
I was at that game.
Yeah, I think they made Braxton retire at that point. Like, I think literally he handed in his papers at the end of that game.
Yeah, Chooch was on first base. Jimmy hit the ball to the wall, and Chooch scored off of Braxton. Yep. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, so I have that vibe with this team right now, and I know it's 6 weeks into the season. They're a quarter way through the season. I just don't know if it stops. And I'll look at it in a second here. I know it's early to look at standings, but they are 700 still. I mean, not often do you hear about teams 700 even in May. Not that it doesn't happen, but it's not often.
Yeah, they were the first team ever to have a 700 winning percentage. If you saw one of our posts the other day.
Yeah, according to no science or math performed, but yeah. But they're 700. I mean, they're 8-2 in their last 10 games. But they're 3 games over the Braves now, because with that loss tonight, like he said, Braves are 26-14. And that's the thing, is they forget the Braves are still 4 games not played.
Yeah.
So we're playing through the rain and in the muck. Like, I mean, when was the last time they played one series in Philadelphia where there wasn't one game where it was like torrentially downpouring? Like, that's what I want to know.
There has been an uncommon amount.
When did Philly turn into Seattle? Like, that's what I want to know. But like, looking at these games,
blame climate change. Everybody else does.
Yeah, right. And one thing I want to look at it is, and Tony's sitting here saying Phillies could go for the sweep tomorrow. We were just talking about this, Tony. Like, this is two game series.
Mm-hmm.
They swept the first one, then they're going to sweep the two because it's the same team. Like, where do you fall that into? They are scoring. Yeah, that's the big thing. They're scoring runs whenever they want. The runners in scoring position is better. It's still not great, by the way.
It's not great.
It's a little bit more to the average, slightly above average, to the Major League Baseball. But like, people are like, oh, they're playing. Joe, your answer to this: they're just playing bad teams. They've only played bad teams. What is your answer to that?
A majority of the league are bad teams. The Phillies don't pick their schedule. They don't pick the teams and when they're going to play them and how hot the team is at the time that they're actually playing them. If you look at just the overall MLB, I mean, there's eight teams that are like above 500. Like a lot of teams are off to a slow start, and it's not the Phillies' fault that regardless if they're on the road or at home, they're just either pummeling them and they're scoring 10 runs, 6 to 10 runs, or they're finding ways to scrap wins out, either 2-0, 4-1, whatever it may be. Everything about this Phillies team right now is, and again, runners in scoring position has not been great, but the Phillies are scoring when they need to. I.e., look at the other game at Citi Field the other night when they won in extra innings. They went into the 9th down by 2 runs. They find ways to scratch, claw, and fight their way, and their pitching has been absolutely top notch. Right now, they're firing on all cylinders, and the excuse of that they're not playing good teams, it's a null and void for me, because a majority of teams out there are not playing good teams right now and still losing.
Well, I always say when you're the best team, not all the other teams are not that good compared to you.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, they got Washington coming up for a 3-game series over the weekend. Then they have a 3-game series against the Rangers at home, the World Series defending champions. So
who are barely 500.
Yeah.
So what's the excuse there? They're the reigning champs, and we're going to say that the Rangers aren't a good team because they're not at 500, right?
Well, that's my point. Is like that's a losing mentality. Like it's a losing conversation, because if they beat the Rangers, they're 500. They're not that good.
Exactly.
But if they don't beat the Rangers, well, the Rangers defending champions are a better team. See, they can't beat good teams. Yeah, it's
yep.
You trust me, when I do the Fightings final, I deal with this conversation a lot.
Oh, I'm sure.
Then they play the Rockies. Then they're away for another stretch again. The Rockies, Giants, come home for the Cardinals.
These are all beatable teams. Like, what are we supposed to do?
Joe,
they'll probably continue to go 8-2 in their last 10. Like it's such a ridiculous excuse.
So let me ask you a question: if they continue on this trajectory into June 1st, right, and rightfully they could, because they're playing against the Nats, they should win that series, right? They're playing against the Rangers. We'll see where that plays out, but in my eyes, should win the series.
At home.
They're playing against the Rockies. They're playing against the Giants, who are struggling still, and then that leads them to one game against the Cardinals, who aren't a great team either, at home.
Right.
With that being said, I mean, does June the big June swing? Is it just another month for us because of April and May? It was so good. Can you make it look better than April and May if it all plays out that way?
I don't think you can make it look better. I think it. That's one person. I don't think it makes it look better. I just think it really solidifies what we're thinking right now, what this team could be, because obviously we always complain about the slow start in the first couple months and then they get better as time goes on. But the fact that they are better now and they're continuing that success, it's just solidifying what we already know, or what we feel about this team right now, that there's no doubt about it. They are the best team in the MLB right now. I don't care what fan base you're a part of. You can look at the record. You can look at the run differential. You can look at the ERA of the starting, and the relievers haven't been great, but the starting pitching, you can look at all of it, and numbers don't lie. You cannot sit there and just make up BS and say, well, the Phillies aren't good at this, this, and this. But when you look at the stats, yes, they are. They are better at everybody than this, 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 and this. You can't triple stamp a double stamp.
Can't triple stamp, double stamp. Can't triple stamp.
Exactly.
Somebody tweeted this out earlier. Bryce Harper with bases loaded in 2024, right? 3 for 4, 2 home runs. So he has 2 grand slams.
2 grannies.
A double, a walk, and 11 RBIs. And so far with this season with the bases loaded. It says the Phillies improved the third. What's that?
Fun fact. Both Bryce Harper grand slams, I had tickets to both games and didn't go to either.
This is why Joe's not allowed to go.
That's why I'm a mush.
that's why That's why I'm stealing his tickets and giving away in certain events.
That's right.
And here's another one. The Phillies improved to 31-13 today. If they play 500 ball for the rest of the way, they will match their 2023 record of 90-72.
That's beautiful.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
And
they only have to play 500 ball to match what they won last year. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, they have to keep winning series and stay consistent. Absolutely. I mean, and like I said, on that note, tomorrow hopefully they're going to go for I guess the second sweep into two back-to-back sweeps, if you want to call it.
You know what? I was actually thinking this. Like if obviously 4 games, like if they and I'm mentioning it because of saying that they haven't lost the series since the first 2 of the season. Now obviously they swept them in New York, and they just say they lost today and they lost tomorrow. It wouldn't be like, would you look at it as a split series? You know what I mean?
Yeah, anything to make us look better. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to say the Mets swept us. Now because I know why they're doing this 2 back-to-back 2 games, because the London game, there's 2 games, and one game they're home and one game to the away team.
I didn't even think of that. Okay.
Does that count as part of the series?
That's a great question.
I'm not sure how that works out. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Well, I mean, all right. They have the Reds for that 1 game, right?
They have the Reds for what 1 game?
I thought when you were going off do they have a makeup game with the Reds?
No. You mean for
saying...
No, the Cardinals. They have 1 game. They play the Cardinals, but 1 game's in May. The other ones are in June.
Oh, okay. Got you. Okay, yeah. Never mind.
Because it's funny because with this whole change with them playing all these teams, they actually don't see the Miami Marlins again until September.
I mean, that seems to happen every year. Last year it was the Braves.
Yeah, so it's there's 1 less series. That's why they play because they usually played 9 home and 9 away.
Yeah,
against your divisional rival. So now it's 6 and 6. There's 3 less games. So
yeah, I forgot about that. They added more interleague.
Yeah. Do you like that, Joe? Is that better for baseball? Better for you? Better for the team? If say if you're a team with a really good team in your division, say when the Braves were beating up on the rest of the league the last couple of years, was it better that we had to see them a few less games in a year from a win-loss standpoint?
Well, that's the thing. It could really bite you in the butt, because if you are only 2 or 3 games out of division or leading the division, and those games, say Braves, Phillies, say the things were reversed. Say the Braves were up by 2 or 3 games towards the end of the year, then you're not getting those games that you usually have to try and make up that stretch. You know what I mean? So I think it depends on where you are in the standings to whether it can really pay a toll on if you're not playing those teams those extra games now.
Good point. All right, guys, on that note, hopefully the Phillies continue to surge. Hopefully the Sixers can make some sense of what they do. Guys, tomorrow morning, I'm sure Phil will be going over this schedule as well. So remember, every Monday through Friday, from starting at 8 a.m., trending the AM exclusively here on Edge of Philly Sports. So check that out. Great morning show, the best morning show, humbly speaking.
Break the dial.
Yeah. Break that dial off. Throw it away. You don't need it. Again, here is your EoP Sports lineup. So plenty to cover tomorrow. And like I said, Joe will be posting it. I'll be down at the stadium. So all your post-game, interviews, we'll have that for you. And anything from the stadium worth sending you before then, we'll also put up as well. Hopefully the weather's a little better tomorrow. I think it's supposed to be 70 and just cloudy. I don't think there's so much rain on the forecast right now, but it'd be nice to see the Phillies have a drier game. Just a dry game. Not even a hot game. Just a dry game.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm Big Al.
And I'm Joey Sheeran. Thank you, everybody who in the comments is saying great show. Appreciate it. Yeah, make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Let me throw them. So always got to throw them. Thank you, guys. Adam, thank you. Tony, always, guys. We appreciate you. Without you guys, what we do is kind of absolutely pointless. So thank you very much for enjoying it. Hopefully there'll be more to enjoy. A lot of new things going on here at EoP. Don't forget EoPsports.com. For all the articles. I'll have one out for tomorrow's game, of course. There's plenty of articles for all your major sports and more. The Union one will be out, I'm sure, soon. And newsletter comes out every Friday, so sign up for the newsletter. So if you miss anything, there's that, and all our great events that are coming up. So we'll be seeing you guys again. I'm Big Al,
and I'm Joe Sheeran,
and we out.